Alone Against the Static is a Call of Cthulhu scenario designed to be played by a single person, where you are both the keeper and player. You take on the role of either Alex or Charlie, a young couple who are vacationing at a secluded forest cabin in South Dakota's Black Hills. The collapse of their relationship and a creeping horror growing in the woods around them are the central focus of this adventure. It is set during the 1990s, and unfortunately for me, takes place far out of signal range. So I should not rely on modern conveniences to protect me from danger. Deadly forces to whom a few decades mean nothing are lurking in the shadowy woods around me. Alone Against the Static is a horror scenario and explores themes of grief, isolation, relationships, and heartbreak, and is recommended for mature players and audiences. Today, I will be taking the role of Charlie. He's 33 years old, and he's also a nurse. Somewhere in the forgotten wilds, where pine needles carpet the forest floor, something stirs. Wind whips around the Black Hills to places where bears, rabbits, and birds never visit. The trees of the surrounding forest shiver. Beneath the moist earth, something wakes. Shifting from beneath the soil, it erupts in silence from the ground. Its emergence reverberates throughout the wild. Far off, a wolf howls in mourning for what will soon pass. It pulls itself from the darkness and breathes. It blinks. Buzz. Alex mutters absent-mindedly, opening and closing the car's electric window for the 10th time in 2 minutes. You grit your teeth. You only just got back on the road after your truck stopped brake, and Alex has already fiddled with every button within reach. You're left to steer the car and navigate using a ridiculously oversized map. Alex gets bored of the window, sighs, then turns to you. "Can you just let me hold the map?" "No, I can do this just fine," you reply. The two of you already missed one turnoff this trip because Alex lost track of your route. It's better for you to just take care of everything. It is late afternoon on a rural back road deep within the Black Hills. The sun is high, but the air is cold. Tall pine trees and rolling valleys stretch as far as you can see in every direction. Crisp autumn air drifts in through Alex's open window. Then, you hear an electronic buzz for a moment. Suddenly appears again, on and off, on and off. You bite your tongue and keep silent. Alex turns on the radio. You hear a harsh screech of static as they start scanning through different frequencies. This is all pointless. You're way out of signal range. The only song you can pick up is a heavily distorted Neil Diamond single. "Please." You reach over and turn the radio off. "I can't think with that noise." Alex raises up their hands defensively. "Sorry," they mutter, then turn back to the window. You look back to the road. In your peripheral vision, you notice Alex shoot an irritated glance your way. The longer this trip lasts, the tenser the atmosphere in the car seems to get. "It's the next left," you say, and try to smile reassuringly. Alex doesn't answer. You continue deeper into the forest. The little road you're on winds erratically, dipping up and down as it weaves between hills. The sky gets lost in the branches of pine trees. As the evening shadows lengthen, you feel cold seeping in from outside. The sun gradually sets. Your car's headlights cut into the darkness, revealing the road ahead, just a few feet at a time. Finally, they drift over the front of a cabin, reflecting off 2 windows on either side of a front door, glaring back at you like watchful eyes. You pull up and park. "Finally," Alex sighs, stepping out into the gravel driveway. You haul yourself out of the seat, stretch your back, and walk around to the trunk to get your bags. It's cold here. The cold night air seizes around you like a vice. You weren't expecting it to be this chilly. "Are you hungry?" Alex asks, while you try to keep from shivering. Make a con roll. That is a 55 under 70. Success. Please. Burgers? Alex smiles. Sure. You drag the bags to the cabin and lock the door. You stick one hand inside, feel for the light switch, then flick it on. Alex peeks inside and nods approvingly. Wow. Super cozy. The cabin isn't very big. Your brother Mark, who owns the place, really exaggerated how luxurious it was. There's only one main room with a double bed, a chest of drawers, and a corner set up to serve as a kitchen. There's no microwave. Both the oven and stove use gas. You see two doors, one leading to the rear of the cabin while another leads to a tiny bathroom. You just know it's going to be freezing in there. On the wall opposite the bed is a TV and VCR unit sitting on top of a cupboard. The whole cabin is lit by muted yellow bulbs. It's not dark, but it's not quite light either. The side of the bathroom reminds you that you've just spent several hours driving. You excuse yourself and dart inside. While you're washing your hands, you catch sight of yourself in the mirror. There are bags under your eyes. You stop and sigh. A weekend getaway. Is this really going to solve all your and Alex's problems? There's no sense in brooding. You come out here for a reason. You love Alex. You want to make this work. You can spend all day guessing how things will end up, but it won't change anything. All you can do is be the kindest and most loving person you can. Whether or not that will be enough is out of your hands. You walk out of the bathroom, smile, and try cracking a joke. Oof. Sorry, I've been holding on to that one since we left Pierre. Alex snorts, but you catch the slightest hint of a smirk. They're standing in the kitchen, chopping up vegetables. You walk over and do your best to help. Before long, you're both seated at the small dining table, eating together. Alex is not saying much. It's difficult to tell what they're thinking. Make a psychology roll to gauge how Alex is feeling. That is a 22 under 60. Success. Alex is confused. That's the only time they ever go quiet. You watch them pick at their food half-heartedly. They're probably turning things over in their head just like you are. As much as you want to blurt out questions, to talk things through, you force yourself to keep silent. Alex doesn't like that kind of direct conversation. If you start asking questions, you'll probably just annoy them. The best thing you can do is just relax. Focus on doing the things you enjoy as a couple. It will remind them how good things can be. That's the best way forward. It will remind them of how good things can be. That's the best way forward. Hey, do you want to watch a movie? You ask. Alex hesitates. The two of you used to fall asleep to movies almost every night when you were first dating. Alex chews the idea over for a moment, then nods. Sure. You take the dishes over to the sink and wash them up while Alex brushes their hair. When you're done, you head over to the TV unit. It's a relatively cheap model from the late 80s sitting on top of a dusty VCR player. You switch both on, then open a cabinet beneath, looking for videos. Mark sure likes scary movies, you say, looking over the titles. 15 different tapes, and you're sure that covers pretty much every major slasher film of the last decade. God, none of these look good. There aren't any comedies? Alex asks for the bathroom. Alex asks from the bathroom. Make a spot hidden roll. That is a 70 over 65. Failure. You take out the tapes and go through them one by one, rolling your eyes and performatively gagging at each cover as you go. Anything good? Alex asks, coming out of the bathroom. Not really. I could have sworn Mark said there was a romance or something. He said they watched it when they were here last summer. Alex crosses the cabin and comes over to you. You realize they're smiling. Maybe they just got stuck, soul-searching in the bathroom mirror, too. Is the tape still in the VCR? They ask. You lean over and press the eject button. There is a whirring of mechanical internals, then the unit spits out a tape. Aha, you say, lifting the tape up heroically. Alex claps their hands together in mock applause, then giggles, tilts their head, and considers you. "I love you," Alex says. You smile at Alex before replying, "I love you too." The two of you stay quiet for a moment afterwards and enjoy the silence. Then, you bustle over to the VCR and get everything ready. Before long, the two of you are set up in bed, looking towards the TV, with the tape paused and ready to go. "Ready to start?" you ask Alex. They nod. Lights, camera, action. When the film begins, the screen is black. There's faint music, but no opening credits. Then the screen cuts to blurry footage that was clearly recorded on a handheld camera. "Wow, is this one of Mark's home movies?" you ask. Alex laughs, then reaches for the remote. "Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a second. That looks familiar," you say, pointing at the TV. Alex hesitates. On screen, you see a wall of tall forest trees. Leaves and pine needles crunch under the feet of whoever's filming. The camera pans across the landscape, creating a blur of greens and browns. Suddenly, you spot Mark's cabin. Standing alone in its little clearing, a dual red sedan is parked out front. "That's Julie's car," Alex says. "This must have been after their wedding." The camera is shaky. Wind rushes against the microphone, causing a brief flurry of horrid scraping from the speakers. There's movement near the red car. A woman, Julie, is taking bags from the trunk. She is smiling. "Yeah," Alex says. "This must be at least 5-6 years ago." Julie turns as the cabin door opens. Mark steps out, walks over, and takes one of the bags from her. They smile and exchange unheard words. You sit bolt upright. "What the hell?" "What's wrong? It's only Mark." "Yeah, so who's filming?" Alex stammers and blinks. On the screen, Mark and Julie go inside and close the door behind them. The camera zooms in toward the window. The picture is a grainy blur of colors. You see movement in the cabin. The camera zooms even closer. Then, harsh wind picks up and howls through the speakers. The image smashes to a slurry of loud static. White noise booms out into the room. The sound drills into your skull. You feel like it's going to make your head explode. Make a sanity roll. If you fail, lose 1 sanity. That is an 82/60. Failure. You dart from the bed, grimacing at the ear-splitting noise. You switch the dial and kill the TV. Alex is sitting on the bed with her hands clamped over their ears like a dope. "Sorry, it's only a remote for the VCR. There's no volume control." "What the hell was that?" you ask angrily. Alex shrugs. "I don't know." "Mark and Julie came out here with someone else?" Alex laughs. "I don't really want to think about what your brother and his wife might get up to when they're out here." You roll your eyes. "That was creepy. It was like a peeping Tom." "Well, we know it's not." Alex gestures to the TV cabinet. "Why would Mark and Julie have the tape?" You shake your head and take a deep breath. "You're right. It's stupid. Let's just forget about whatever the hell that was." "You still want to watch a movie?" Alex asks. "Sure. Whatever is fine. One of those schlocky flicks," you say. Alex gets up. "My pick?" "Your pick." Alex smiles and looks over the tapes in the cabinet. "Ooh, this is a good one." You lean forward to look at a tape that has a guy wearing a pumpkin on his head on the cover. "I think even you'll like it, babe." "Somehow I doubt it." You smile. "No, seriously," Alex says and slips the tape from the case. "It's about this guy who's a writer and he drives up to this secluded town in Maine, right?" Alex hits eject on the VCR. And anyway, when the TV set blares to life. It bellows static through the cabin, thunderous scraping and coughing bounces off the walls. You thrash and cover your ears. Alex is swearing, but you can barely hear it. The TV falls silent. and with it all the lights in the cabin go dark. The power is out. "Alex?" you ask the darkness. "Yeah?" "What was that?" "I think the power's out." You hear scrambling in the darkness as Alex shuffles along the floor, one hand touching the wall. They flick the light switch several times. "I thought this place was on solar power." "That's what they said. Maybe something is broken." "Do you think there's a backup?" "No idea. I guess we'll need to go into town tomorrow and call Mark to ask him." "Great." You press your fist against your brow. "That's just great." Your heart is still racing after that last burst of noise. You take your hands away from your face, but it doesn't get any lighter. It's pitch black in the cabin. You feel anxiety start to build in your chest. "That was really loud," you say. You can hear a waver in your voice. Alex clearly does too. "Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine." You hear approaching footsteps. Then the bed frame creaks as Alex crawls onto it. In the silence following the outburst from the TV, even the slightest sound rings definitely loud in the quiet. You feel Alex cuddle up close to you. "I'm sorry," Alex says. "Don't be." "Listen, don't worry about the TV. We'll fix it tomorrow. If not, we can just go hiking instead." You murmur softly in agreement. Alex wraps an arm around you. You feel their breathing on the back of your neck. It slows quickly and fades into the gentle rumble of sleep. The sound is steady and calming. Before long, you drift off too. The only sound that disturbs you is the faint creaking of pines echoing softly through the black hills. When you wake in the morning, you are alone. You stir in the bed and sit up. "Babe?" There is no answer. The only sound is the wind outside, carrying with it a gentle morning bird song. You get up and cross to the kitchen. There's a note taped to the chunky refrigerator, which is written in familiar handwriting. "Sorry again. Just want this weekend to be special. Gone to town to help fixing power. Gone to town to get help for fixing the power. Back ASAP. Love you." You set the note down. Looks like you have a few hours to yourself. Outside, the air is fresh, the sun is warm, and the sky is mostly clear. You fill your lungs with the scent of moist soil and pine trees. You take a few steps forward and peer down the driveway. It weaves away into the woods. The trees are so thick here that you'd probably have a better chance listening out for cars than looking for them. You turn and head down a walking trail just by the cabin. The earth has been worn smooth by the hiking shoes of innumerable visiting families. The forest grows thicker around you as you walk. Unseen critters skitter past in the underbrush. Birds move through the branches above, calling out and making pine needles rustle. You come across a blueberry bush just by the trail. The nature surrounding you eats away at the stress layered into your being. You feel yourself truly smile for the first time in weeks. It happens without any effort on your part. It feels good. Close your eyes and turn your face to the sky. The fresh air and sunlight kiss your skin. It's glorious. Off to the left, you hear running water. You open your eyes and look towards the source of the sound. It's coming from just off the trail you've been walking along. You step off the trail and stride through the forest towards the sound of running water. The ground is uneven, so you steady yourself on the trunks of nearby pines as you go. You walk for a little while until the sound of the water gets louder. You crest a small ridge and discover a bubbling stream just on the other side. The water is rushing downhill fast, headed south. It's clear and fresh. The trickling sound is melodic. You carefully walk down to the riverbank. Loose leaves and pine needles wash downstream in a tiny rendition of whitewater rafting. Steadying yourself against a tree, you sit down on the riverbank, lean back and close your eyes. A breeze brushes across your face and hair. You admire the way the sunlight paints the inside of your eyelids red and yellow. Make a listen roll. That is a 38 under 60. Success. Beyond the stream, between the trees, you hear twigs snapping. You stiffen, then stand up tall. Suddenly, a deer emerges from the tree line. It steps slowly toward the stream that spots you, freezes, and stares. The water running between you and the deer is the only thing that moves. You are both completely still, watching each other. You notice one of the deer's eyes is swollen with pus and blood. Make a natural world roll. That is a 20 under 40. Success. You've watched enough nature documentaries to know You've watched enough nature documentaries to know that whatever is infecting the deer's eye isn't common. It doesn't look like any of the frightening diseases, prions, or parasites you've seen on TV. You take a step toward the deer, palms raised, trying to look non-threatening. As soon as you move, the deer turns and bolts. It vanishes into the colors of the forest within seconds. You're left alone by the stream. Creepy. You'd better go back to the trail. You hit the trail once again and push forward, heading farther down the black hills and deeper into the forest. It's a pleasant hike. Sunlight filters through pine branches and casting up dancing shadows all about you in the cool morning air. After a half hour or so, you feel nature calling and step behind a tree to pee. You're fumbling with your clothes when you spot something. Ahead, off the trail and nestled in a narrow valley, is a dilapidated wooden shed. You step through the small clearing where the shed leans lopsided against a rocky, moss-ridden mountain wall. It's not large, maybe half the size of Mark and Julie's cabin. It's made entirely of wood. A rotting piece of pine serves as a makeshift door that only just still hanging from the frame. The place looks like nobody has been here in years. You step closer to the shed and put your hand against the door. It swings in slowly and easily. The shed is dark inside. You see the faint, shadowy blotches of furniture hidden in the gloom. The only light in the shed comes from the open door and a few cracks in the uneven weatherboard walls. There's no windows. It's like this place was designed to be gloomy. You see a small workbench, a wall-mounted cupboard, and a stack of cardboard boxes. The rest of the furniture is mildewy and unremarkable. The floorboards creak beneath you as you walk across the room. The cupboard hangs precariously from a dilapidated wall. It has a stressful forward tilt, gripped by gravity. You see a few rusted nails securing it in place. You carefully open the doors. Within are two little shelves, both lined with videotapes. They're home tapes, like the ones Mark had, with white stickers on the front, marked by black Sharpies. The tapes are all caked with moss and spider webs. Make a spot hidden roll to search through the tapes. That is an 100 over 60. 65 rather, but I would like to push the roll, so I'm going to roll a second time at the risk of my time searching being cut short. If I failed my pushed roll, I have to go to a certain place, but let's push the roll. 59 under 65, success. You notice an empty space in the row of tapes where one is missing. You reach out and take the tape next to it. It is a little less damaged than the rest. Maybe it will still work. The black marker title reads, "The Quiet in the Evening." You take the tape and tuck it away. All the videos have weird names. You note a few. The sun with the trees, hoping it erupts, the way she moves in the night, and the cry of the children. You narrow your eyes, anxiety rising, and gently close the cupboard door. The boxes are wet and caked with mildew. You open the flaps on the topmost box. The cloying smell of rot hits your nostrils as soon as you touch it. Inside is a pile of black clothing. You pull the first article out. The smell gets worse. The clothing is all long and hooded, and each is about the size of a bedsheet. This looks like something somebody would wear in one of Mark's stupid slasher films. You move the topmost box aside and open the next one down. This one has been more successfully protected from the elements. Inside is a collection of dirty glass jars, a long dagger in a leather sheath, and a handheld camcorder. The dagger is beautiful than it first looked. The dagger is bigger than it first looked. The blade is about the length of your forearm. You remove the leather sheath and look at the glistening steel. You see your reflection, shadowed in the gloomy half-light, staring back at you. The weight of the dagger feels good in your hand. You feel an urge to take it along with you. Make an occult roll. That is a 30/5. Failure. You see your distorted reflection in the dagger's blade. It makes you think about funhouse mirrors, like the ones at a tourist beach town you visited as a kid. You never liked it there. The clunky handheld recording device makes you shiver as you look it over. What was filmed with this camcorder last? Was this what filmed the video we watched last night? The device is maybe 4 or 5 years old, but it's decayed significantly. It must have been left here to rot while it was brand new. You press all the buttons on the camcorder, but nothing happens. The battery is almost certainly dead. You can feel something rattling around inside, probably another tape. The eject button is jammed, though. You pick up one of the jars. Each contains a viscous black substance. The stench of urine is immediate and overpowering. You set the jar back down. Disgusting. When you look at the bench, you see that it is laden with a collection of tools. None have been touched in years. They are covered in greasy dust. You see a dual gray hammer. Perhaps it could be useful? There's also what looks like a specialized miniature screwdriver set. Take the hammer. The hammer is rusty, though, and the leather grip is crumbling, but it's still heavy. That's all that matters, right? You take the hammer and tuck it away. Well, that's enough of that. You step out of the little shed and back into the forest. You wince in the harsh light of the sun and let your eyes adjust. You make your way back to the trail and continue your hike for about half an hour. Then you turn and head back home. You crest the rise that leads back to the cabin. The sun is high in the sky. It's late morning, soon to be afternoon. You sigh. There's no sign of the car, and therefore you're probably still without power or your partner, for now. You head inside. Everything is well lit by the late morning glow. You change out of your walking clothes and leave them on the bed, then head into the bathroom to shower. Water cascades into the waiting tub below, filling the room with a constant loud drizzle that is almost like white noise. The pressure is lousy without power to the pump, but gravity does most of the work. Thank God the water heater is gas-powered. You wash your face and scrub clean the pores on your nose. You turn around in the shower to scrub your back. You wash your face and scrub clean the pores of your nose. You turn around in the shower to scrub your back. You pause. Just ahead, the door to the bathroom is wide open. You're certain you closed it. You shut the shower off and step out, grabbing a towel and wrapping it around you. Honey, is that you? You call out, but there's no reply. You stand in the empty cabin. Nothing. You're alone. Make a sanity roll. 32 under 59. Success. Even though you're still warm from the shower, you shiver a little. You shove the anxiety down. The door probably swung open on its own. Seems like everything in this cabin is a little faulty. Time to get dressed. You stretch, roll your head around a few times to work the tired muscles, then head over to the bed and open your suitcase. You purse your lips and consider how you're feeling. Freshly dressed, you feel renewed. Now, what to do with the afternoon while you wait for your partner to return? Hopefully they have a solution to the power problem. You head to the kitchenette. You're glad the fridge and stove are powered by gas. You cook up a meal, then enjoy it alone at a little dining table. Delicious. Truly, you are a Michelin-level chef. Anyway, you know there was a heavy-duty flashlight in the car, but it's gone now. What do you have here in the cabin? Right now, when the sun goes down, you'll be left in the dark. Make a spot hidden roll. That is a 16 under 65. Success. In the cupboard beneath the sink, you find a little plastic container with a mini flashlight in it. You switch it on. It works, but the beam is weak. The batteries are probably dying. You look for spares in the pantry, the bathroom, and in the bedside tables. Eventually, your gaze settles on the TV cabinet. You cross the cabin to the television and perch on your knees in front of it. You open the cabinet and scan over the videotapes. You move some of them aside to look deeper into the cabinet. In the dark, right at the back, you find a blister pack of batteries. They must be kept here for the remote control, but they fit the flashlight. Jackpot. You swap the batteries out. The beam becomes much stronger. You can't think of anything else to do in the cabin, and restlessness is creeping in. For a while, you lie on the sofa and read an old beat-up paperback from a shelf in the corner. You think it's pretty good, but a little flowery and overwritten, not to mention how grating prose written in the second person can be. Make a listen roll. That is a 9 under 60. Success. You hear footsteps outside. They crunch on the gravel driveway. You sit up. You didn't hear a car approach. You stand up nervously and creep across to the window. A balding, middle-aged man is standing just outside the front door. He's dressed in a thick winter coat and has his hands in his pockets. You do not recognize him. He lifts his hand to the cabin door and knocks. You wait a few moments, then hear him step away from the door. You move to the window and look out. You see him leaving. He doesn't head down the driveway, though. He takes the trail that leads into the forest. The same trail you went walking on earlier. You step out of the cabin and watch as a stranger strides down the forest trail. You follow him, crunching along the same stones you trod on earlier this morning. You can't help but feel like what you're doing is dangerous. But you hurry after the stranger. You follow behind him through the woods. You're not far away, but he doesn't seem to pay attention to you. Now, I can choose to creep after the stranger or decide to follow him openly. I'm going to creep after him, so I'm going to make a stealth roll. If comfortable is checked on my log sheet, I can make this roll with a bonus die, and comfortable is indeed checked off on my log sheet, so I can basically roll with advantage here. So I'm going to roll stealth. And I don't even need the bonus die. That is 3 under 30. Success. You stoop down and step carefully, avoiding sticks and branches to silence your pursuit. The man gets a little farther in front, but you don't lose sight of him. After a few minutes, he hesitates. You bob down low. The stranger looks over his shoulder, then steps off the forest trail and walks deeper into the woods. The night keeps getting darker. You follow the stranger between shadowy pine trees. The forest floor quietly crunches beneath your feet. He still hasn't seen you. He leads you down the side of the Black Hills into a narrow valley where the forest floor plateaus and pine-coated ridges rise around you in all directions. The sun slowly starts to dip below the lip of the horizon. The shadows around you lengthen. You continue to follow. The sun sets and it grows dark. Finally, the stranger walks into a small clearing. In the center, there is a mound of fleshly turned earth. You watch from the tree line. He stands in the middle of the clearing, hidden by long shadows. His hands hang by his sides. "You shouldn't have come here," he says. You seize up. The man turns slowly and looks at you. "You're not supposed to be here." "Sorry," you say, stepping out from the trees. I'm sorry. I'll go now, okay? I'll leave." He shakes his head. "It's too late for that." "No, it's not. I'm going now. I'll just go back to my cabin and forget all this." He stares at you. "Okay?" He opens his mouth and opens it wide. The teeth at the back of his throat are black. He sticks his tongue out. It's broad and flat. He He screams, and when he does, he bellows. The sound is harrowing. It's not a regular scream. It's an amalgam of human bellowing and a howling static that racks at your brain, impossibly loud. Make a sanity roll. That is 100 over 59. Failure. You clamp your hands over your ears. Your scream joins the sound of wailing static. Lose 1d4 sanity and take 1d4 damage. I lose 1 sanity point and 3 health. No. No. You stumble away, clutching at your head, and make for the tree line. A terrible sharp pain blossoms in the base of your skull. It makes your vision blur. You reach the trees and stagger blindly into the woods. Make a navigate roll. That is a 28 over 20. That is a failure. But I'm going to spend 8 luck points to make that a success. Hands still clamped around your head, you run as fast as you can for safety. You can feel blood leaking from your ears, pulling in your hands as you go. You dash past trees, jump over logs, and duck under branches. Acting totally on instinct, you manage to pick out the path you took and follow it back. It takes longer than you expected, but you finally find your way back to the forest trail, then back to Mark's cabin. It stands serenely in the dark. There is still no car in the driveway. You make it into the cabin and slam the door shut. Once you're sure it's locked, you slide down the wall and sit, head cradled in your hands. You're shaking. That was awful. Utterly, unspeakably awful. Now what? What the heck are you meant to do? Seconds drag by, then minutes, then hours. You stay hidden in the cabin. You prowl through it, peeking outside every now and again, but there's no sign of your partner, and no sign of danger either. You think about making a break for it out into the woods, but you know that the stranger is probably just outside watching, waiting for you to try. You feel lost. Then, suddenly, the TV turns on. Maybe the power's back? You reach across to the bedside lamp and flick the switch. Nothing. You get out of bed and use the flashlight to find the light switch on the wall. Nothing. You cross the cabin and step into the bathroom. You flick the switch. Nothing. Nothing. Just the TV, tuned to the VCR, displaying slightly illuminated black. It's quiet. The VCR is purring. The TV is dim. You produce the tape you found in the dilapidated shed. The title, written in black marker pen on the label, reads, "A Quiet in the Evening." You take the tape to the television set and sit on your knees to reach the VCR. You insert the tape and press play. The screen flutters for a moment. Then, the sounds of the forest come in. This tape looks to have also been made with a handheld camcorder. The person recording is looking at a campfire. Flames are licking around a wet log. The sizzle and crack of wood merges with the rustle of surrounding trees. After a few moments of this, you hear a voice. It's a man's voice with a strange sing-song tone that reminds you of adult presenters on kids' television. "It's so nice and quiet here at night," the voice says. You're pretty sure it belongs to whoever is holding the camera. "Alone with my thoughts, not a care in the world, I must say." The banality of this lonely self-talk creeps you out. The camera jolts to the left. It is now centered on the tree line, right on the edge of the light from the fire where the forest plunges into darkness. "Hello?" the man says. There is nothing but the quiet crackling of the fire. "Hello?" He stands up. He walks closer to the forest. "Is someone out there?" Faintly, somewhere in the dark, You hear the muted sound of shouting. "What did you say?" The cameraman calls. Again, the muted sounds of yelling. The cameraman stands staring into the dark for a few moments longer. Then, hastily, he turns the camera down to face his boot-clad feet, strides back to his camp, and crawls into his tent. Panting, he quickly zips the entrance flap up. The tape ends. You rewind the tape, watching as the images flash in reverse before you. You stop at the part where the man turns the camera toward the forest. You crank the volume to max. "Hello?" the man says. You hear a quiet voice yelling out in the dark. "Hello?" He stands up. He walks closer to the forest. "Is someone out there?" Make a listen roll. That is a 74 over 60. Failure. But if I fail but wish to push the roll, I can make a second roll, at the risk of hearing something you wish you hadn't. I'm going to push the roll. "73 over 60. That is a failed push roll. You rewind the tape to the same spot, press your ear close to the speaker, then hit play. You hear the cameraman stand up, and there is a loud screech. You jerk your head back and cry out, just as the cameraman begins to speak. The TV volume increases sharply. You turn the volume down as low as it can go with one hand and clamp the other over the side of your head. That was painfully loud. There's a dual ringing that remains in your ear. Now, the tape from last night is still sitting in the little cabinet. Call it morbid curiosity or just a desire to understand what is going on, but you take up the tape and slide it into the VCR. You turn the volume all the way down. You don't want a repeat of the speaker blasting static from last night. You press play. The tape begins from where it left off the night before. Static. Thunderous white noise, muted by your fingers on the volume dial. Then, the tracking on the tape flickers. Jagged white and silver lines horizontal across the tape. It looks like the tape had more footage to show when you turned it off last night. You ignore the tracking, assuming it will fix itself. The white noise vanishes from the screen. It's replaced by the image of a clearing in the forest. Someone is adjusting the camera, presumably setting it on a tripod. The figure finally steps into view. It's just some guy. He's wearing a fluorescent hunting jacket and beanie. He stands back and looks at the camera, then smiles and turns to the clearing. He has set up a little campfire and a tiny two-man tent. After nodding contentedly, the figure squats by the fire, snapping sticks in half and tossing them into the flames while looking at the camera. His lips are moving. You turn the volume dial and his words become clear. "Out 5 days now, I think." He looks up and around at the pines on the edge of the clearing. "It's beautiful. I'm expecting my friends any day now." The man stands up, looking down at the fire. "Flames are keeping me warm, keeping me prepared." He turns to the camera again, and he gestures to his tent. "It gets cold at night. I think soon, though, that won't matter." He moves to the tent and unzips it. He sticks his head and arms in and forages around for a few moments. He comes out of the tent holding a manila folder, the kind you see people store documents in at offices. He walks back to the camera and takes a seat in front of it. The flame is tight around his face. The figure looks directly down the lens, right at you. He says something, but it's too soft to hear. You rewind the tape. You turn the volume up. It's uncomfortably loud. You press play. You see the man walk back toward the camera and take a seat in front of it. He's so close you can hear his breathing. He looks directly down the lens, right at you. "This is the blessing of the child," he whispers. Now that he is up close, you notice something weird about his eyes. He has a little series of pustules sprouting around the rim of his eyelid. almost directly along the same spot where his eyelashes grow. They vary in size but look sore, yellow, and wet. It looks remarkably like the deer you saw in the forest earlier that day. That same kind of sore, same kind of strange, sickening disease. But you'd assume it was some sort of sickness contracted by animals, not people. Your stomach churns as the man twists and reveals the pustules in all their glory. The man holds up the folder and smiles. Everything here, just as yesterday. Everything I wrote down after that first dream. He puts the folder in his lap, out of sight, and looks down. You hear the folder open and papers rustle. I'll read it again, he says. Words that came to me in my sleep. He smiles at the camera, proud, and gestures to the clearing behind him. This exact spot. I saw it every night. Every single night. He's giddy now. He looks down at his papers and begins to read. It comes in the face of those it has taken, those it has brought into the fold. By the light of the sun it is hidden, and clad in the skin of the familiar. He clears his throat, then continues. By night it walks free, a student of the earth, a venom and cure of the forest. Drawing from deep, its followers are those dictated by the rule of time. Mikhail, Homer, Olivia, Darcy. He pauses here and points excitedly to the paper. That's me, he adds, then goes on reading. Marcus, Charlie, Alex, Rachel, Isaac. Darcy pauses. He looks directly at the camera. Charlie? He asks. Alex? He leans in close to the camera. The entire screen now is just his eye, ridden with pustules. Are you coming home? The screen smashes to white noise and the room fills with crackling static. Make a sanity roll. That is a 27 under 58. Success. You shove your fingers in your ears and smack the stop button of the VCR with your elbow. The cabin falls silent again. The television set sits there, glowing quietly. You remove your hands from your ears, but your heart is still thundering in your chest. His words. How did he know those names? How did he know you? You turn away from the television set and cross over to the bed. You sit down and try to avoid looking at it. You can hear its humming, ever so softly. You follow your flashlight beam to the cabinet door and open it. It's dark and cold outside. The wind drifts past the clearing in front of the cabin, down the driveway to the road hidden by the forest. You shine the flashlight left, then right. There's no sign of your partner. You were obviously being optimistic. If there were any cars out here, you'd hear them a mile out. Make a listen roll. That is a 33 under 60. Success. You hear rapidly approaching footsteps. They're getting closer fast. You spin about and raise your flashlight. It falls on the shadow of a man running in your direction from the tree line. Your eyes widen as you make him out. Middle-aged, large jacket, face set into a determined snarl. He is sprinting for you with murder in his eyes. Your feet skid on the wooden decking as you dive for the door. The sprinting figure is right behind you. Can you make it in time? That is an 81 over 60. That is a failure. But I am going to push the roll at the risk of losing my footing and falling. That is a 63 over 60, but I'm going to use 3 luck points to make that a success. I do not want to be caught by this guy. You lunge back into the cabin and slam the door shut, hastily locking it. A half second later, you hear the stranger slam his full weight against the cabin door. The collision is loud, The door shudders beneath him as he begins to beat his fist hard against it. The door begins to shake. He's trying to break in. Let's try to secure the door. You dart to the kitchen and grab one of the chairs. You drag it to the door and wedge it under the knob. It holds everything in place as the stranger continues to screech and smash his way inside. You can feel the walls shake with every blow. You step back, praying that the door will hold. Make a strength roll. That is a 21 under 60. Success. The chair locks in place under the door. You see the wood flex and bulge with each strike. You haven't stopped your attacker, but you've slowed them down. You glance around the cabin again and frantically reassess your options. You have bought yourself extra time. Apply a bonus die to your next roll. You run across the cabin, past the bed, and into the bathroom. You lock the bathroom door behind you and step into the tub, making yourself small and covering your mouth. You hear a ragged snarl as the stranger stalks into the center of the cabin. You squat lower in the tub and strain your ears to listen. The stranger prowls about, his feet dragging along the wooden floor. Every now and then he howls and belts out a hoarse scream as he searches for you. You hear him at the bathroom door. The knob turns and he pushes at the door, but it does not open. There is a pause, and then you hear sudden footsteps retreating from the cabin. You wait a few moments and lean out the tub, shining the flashlight at the closed bathroom door. There is a creak to your left. You spin about and turn the light to the bathroom window. The stranger is standing there. He's outside looking in. He holds your gaze with dead, flat eyes, and his hands search around the window rim for an opening. He finds a latch, pulls it open, and then, still holding your gaze, begins to drag himself through the window into the bathroom. You rush the man while he is still halfway through the window. Make a fighting brawl roll. That is an 82 over 55, but I'm going to push and try one more time. That is a 96 over 55. Failure. You try to shove the stranger out the window, but he catches your arm and tosses you back. It seems easy for him. He's unnaturally strong. You fall backwards onto the cabin floor. Your flashlight skitters away, painting the bathroom in dancing shadows as its beam spins around and around. Without it, you can hardly see a thing. You scramble for the light, but you feel the stranger's hands on you, grabbing you hard. You hear him grunting, sing-song moaning like some demented elephant or horse. He's trying to drag you out of the cabin. You struggle and try to break free of the stranger's grip. There's no way you're giving up without a fight. You lash out, kick, shout, and do everything you can to escape. Make a fighting brawl roll. That is an 88 over 55. Once again, I will push. $51 under 55. A successful pushed roll. You thrash and heave. It takes a Herculean effort, but eventually you wedge yourself against the stranger and yank your body out of his grip. You scramble out of his reach. He snarls in frustration. "The child will have you," he bellows. "You will serve the child." You steady yourself, then look up to see the stranger approaching you again, fists flailing. You also notice, with a start, that the two of you have managed to swap positions during the scuffle. You are now between him and the door. There's no way you're staying. You spin around and sprint away from the cabin, out into the woods. The stranger's howls of fury grow fainter as you vanish into the night. Take 1d4 damage. And that is 3 damage I take. You dash out into the night, running as far and fast as your body can manage. The cold air burns your lungs. The surrounding trees sound alien as they wrestle, making you all the more terrified. Every few minutes, you emerge from the trees to a section of dirt road. You keep praying that you'll see your partner's car arriving, but deep in your soul, you know it won't come. After almost an hour of mad flight, you come to a crossroads. You recognize it from your journey up to the cabin. You're not sure which direction leads to the highway and which leads deeper into the woods. The forest feels inescapable. Make a navigate roll. That is an 83 over 20. Failure. You pick one path and follow it. You race along it for almost an hour. Even after all that time, you're not sure if you've gone the right way. The woods around you are endless. The hills are treacherous. Before long, you lose your bearing. It doesn't matter if you took the right way or wrong way at the crossroads. You get tangled up in your own hurried flight and lose all sense of direction. Everything here is identical. Just great, looming black shapes, any of which you feel like could suddenly decide to come to life, loom down, and devour you. This isn't right. It isn't right. Make a sanity roll. That is a 30 under 55. Success. Panic is not going to help you get out of these woods. You force yourself to take a few deep breaths and slow your racing heart. You turn, pick a random direction, and start walking determinedly. It's impossible to tell if you made the right call. Your flashlight is the only way to see your surroundings. The only thing you can tell is that the forest is quieter here. Time passes. Eventually, you start to tire. You're also getting seriously cold. You lean against a tree and catch your breath. You try to catch your breath, but it doesn't seem to work. Your hands slide down to the base of the tree and you collapse against the roots. You suck air over and over. Your lungs feel icy. Despite the horrible situation you find yourself in, your eyelids feel so heavy. You're not sure how long you wait, but it is some time until you feel as though you can get back to your feet. You stand slowly, teeter, but manage to forge on. Right now, you just need to put distance between yourself and the chaos you escaped from. When the sun rises, you'll be able to reassess and begin to find your way back to civilization. Take 1 point of damage. Pine needles and dirt crunch under your feet as you walk. You make progress, but with every step you feel yourself growing wearier. You need to find somewhere to rest. Maybe some high ground would be good? Or should you look for a grotto? Anywhere sheltered would be best, right? Just as you spot a cluster of trees where it looks like you'll be able to rest and stay dry, you hear a faint hiss from behind you. What was it? Static? Was the sound static? Adrenaline surges through your system. No. You don't stop to think. You take off at a sprint and race into the forest. You resist the urge to call out for help because you know that none is coming. Ahead of you, moonlight just barely reveals a jagged pathway littered with sharp rocks and treacherous tree roots. You try your best to avoid them. Without light to guide your path, you'd almost certainly break your neck running over the uneven ground ahead. You silently thank your lucky stars that you stopped to add extra batteries to your flashlight. You dodge between the hazards and leave the sound of static behind you. After a minute or so of mad dashing, you can hear nothing but the rustling of forest pines. Just as you're about to stop to catch your breath, you suddenly break through the trees and emerge, blinking, into a large, moonlit clearing. Without the pine trees hiding the light, you could see much more clearly here. The clearing you've wandered into isn't very large, but somebody has still set up inside it. You see a small tent next to a dormant fire pit. Maybe you found help? A sense of deja vu washes over you. This campsite, it's the same one. You hear a rustling from inside the tent. Your noisy arrival clearly woke up whoever is inside. A sing-song voice calls out, "Hello?" Your stomach sinks. You recognize that voice. The tent flap unzips, and the same man steps out. He's even wearing the same clothes. He looks towards you, hesitates, and then nods. You notice that his eyes show no sign of surprise. Hello? You call out. You struggle to keep terror or anger from creeping into your voice. The man approaches you. He's smiling. Don't worry, the man says, and holds his hands up. Empty palms turned towards you. It's okay. I'm your friend. His voice is small and falls eerily. His eyes are wide with excitement. You look around, but there's nothing in the clearing that gives you any new insight into what's going on. What's happening? You ask. You don't expect a real answer, but to your surprise, you get one. I'm someone who can hear it, the man says, then lowers his hands. Hear what? The child. What? The child of the forest. You've heard it too. I know you have. When it weeps, it sounds like static. You say. The man smiles. Yes, I knew it. You have heard it. You hesitate. Charlie, he says. And you freeze. How in the hell do you know my name? The child told me. It just wants a family, Charlie. That's what we can give it. All of us. The voice in the static? You ask. It wants a family? The child. Yes. Okay, you keep calling it a child. What actually is it? The man smiles. Something ancient. I know, a strange name for one so old. I believe it was birthed from Mother Earth herself. It exists alone, in the wild places of the world. It's lonely and aching. The child, you say. It wants a family? The man nods. It's spent uncountable years alone. It sees past, present, and future. It has tried so desperately to adapt to the technology of our world, but has failed. It just wants people to be with it. Here, in its home. He gestures around. It is a burden, this knowledge I have. The man smiles. I came to this place years ago. I brought my camera. I wanted to document the wild, but I found something far more important to document. Something beyond comprehension. I found that the child could somehow manipulate the magnetic particles in my videotapes to show me visions of the future. He smiles wide. And so far, they have all come to pass. The child exists beneath the earth, in the soil, in the trees, and in the pine needles at our feet. The power of the earth all around it lets it smell and taste and touch anything who encounters it, whether they have already or not. What do you mean, you ask? It sees the future? For the child, there is only now, and now is everything all at once. It's why it was waiting for you, he says. In my time here, the child has shown me many things, all stored in my tapes. I've kept them and labeled them and tried to categorize them as best I could. So are you the guy I've seen around? He pauses, thinking. It may have been me, or rather, a version of me. What? I've given myself to the child, he says. I'm in its family now. If it wishes, the child can take my form. Indeed, the child takes many forms, those of its victims, past and future. You shake your head. This is nonsense. Trust me, he pleads. I was doubting at first as well, but the child showed me I could have so much more. He steps towards you, and you step back. I need to leave, you say. Wait! A voice cries from behind you. You spin around. There, standing on the edge of the clearing, is Alex. Their clothes are flaked with mud and dirt. There are twigs caught in their hair. But they're here. They're alive. They're smiling at you. Honey, it's okay, they say. You dash across the clearing and cling to Alex. Oh my God, I've been so worried. You hold them close against you. Alex hugs you back. I know you have. Don't worry. Everything is going to be okay now. We're all together now. You feel Alex's hand stroking at the back of your head. You pull away. You don't have time for this right now. Alex, where's the car? We must get out of here. We have to go now. Alex looks back at you sadly and shakes her head. No, honey, we can't go. We must stay here. The way Alex speaks is all wrong. Standing closer now, you notice 1,000 subtle details that don't fit with the person you know. This isn't Alex. Honey, I know you're nervous, Alex says. I'd try to explain everything, but I just don't think there's much point. They raise their arms open and wide. I'll just show you. I need you, Charlie, Alex's voice says. But this time it comes from behind you. You spin around and see that the man who crawled out of the tent, body unchanged, is now wearing Alex's face. There's 2 of them now. They're on either side of you. I need you like I needed Alex, they say. And when they speak, their voices merge, overlay, and bleed static. You're here now. We can be together, we 3. We 4, all of us. Please come with me. Make a sanity roll. 62 over 55. Failure. I lose 1d6 sanity. And that is 2 sanity lost. No, you say, I don't want that. What? I don't care what you or anybody else says about the child. I want to go home. I want to leave. You see your partner's face fall. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry I couldn't make it painless. Your partner's face bulges. Pine needles sprout from their cheeks and emerge covered in blood. Their mouth opens and thick, fleshy tentacle laced with pale blue veins and coated in saliva unfurls. You hear your partner's voice screaming, "The child is given form. From its flesh emerges a true manifestation." A dozen more voices join the noise. They're laughing, shrieking, and crying. They're chanting something. A name. They repeat it again and again. Ushtika, Ushtika, Ushtika. Your partner steps closer. Clothing sloughs away from their body as their chest spills open into a sphincter-like maw, from which echoes a horrid swarming hail of static. You take one last look at your partner's body. It's disintegrating, turning into something foul before your eyes. There is nothing left you can do for them. It doesn't matter how you feel about them, what you wanted for them. Some greater force has decided for you. All you can do now is run. You race for the edge of the clearing. You make it out if you're fast enough. You hear the warped sound of your partner's voice calling after you, but you do not turn to look back. Then, you hear heavy, slamming footsteps, fast approaching. Make a dex roll. That is a 33 under 60. Success. You run through the forest. You jump logs, dunk under low-hanging branches, deftly avoid the moss-ridden stones. For a while, you hear the sounds of pursuit, but terror, rage, and anguish pushes you to run for longer than you have ever before. Eventually, the sounds of pursuit fade. You keep running, tears streaming down your face. You run for hours. You only stop when the sun rises. By the light of the new day, you find your way through the trees back to a main road. You walk, haggard, for hours. Sometime in the mid-afternoon, when the autumn sun is beginning to dip, you're picked up by a passing trucker. He stares at you curiously and asks repeatedly if you are all right. You never answer him. You ask to be dropped in the center of town. but he drops you at the police station. Doesn't matter. It'll do. You head inside. Days pass in a blur of hospital visits, police reports, and soul-sucking interviews with smiling psychologists who assure you they're only there to help. Search teams go into the Black Hills to try and find your partner. They don't find anyone, but you never really thought they would. They do eventually find your car. Even though it has your license plate, the searchers say it can't have been the same vehicle. It was rusted, covered in moss, and looked as though it had been abandoned in the forest for years. You find no reprieve, even in rest. When you sleep, you dream only of the forest, the lonely trees, the wet soil, and the endless night sky. But there's a strange budding warmth in your belly that makes everything seem fine. Somewhere out there is screaming, a chanting, the wind that unsettles the trees. The breeze makes the pine needles dance across the forest floor. Then there's the static, a cacophony of sound running together, blending to create a long, encompassing drone. It fills your head, your very being. The static is all. Then, suddenly, the warmth within your stomach explodes. Your flesh tears, yet there's no pain nor blood. You watch in horror as the gnarled branches of some ancient tree emerge from your stomach. All wild, twisted roots encircle your bones, crushing and cracking them. You try to scream, but only static emerges. As the static fills you and everything around you, the last thing you are aware of is the endless sea of stars above you. The cold stars. Then, darkness. The darkness lifts. The light of dawn brings you to wake. You don't recall how much time has passed. Might be years later. Or could it be years earlier? Somewhere in the forgotten wild, you stir. You see the ancient forest around you. The pine needles feel like carpet on the ground. It's all warm and familiar. The wind flutters through the Black Hills to a place where no bears, rabbits, or birds ever tread. Trees shiver in the final moments of summer, and beneath the moist earth, you shift. Dead branches and fresh soil fall away from you as you emerge. Human again. You rise from the damp earth and breathe. You blink and hear the call of your master. The child awaits you. You have successfully completed the story and have been reborn to serve the child, as you will be again and again for all eternity. And that is the end of this playthrough for Alone Against the Static.